Hey guys, good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's Daryl here. It's 7 a.m. bright and early here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, let me get right into this. In my last video, I was hesitant to do it. I was like, well, maybe I should finally talk about the impeachment, but I had a gut feeling because the impeachment bores me, and I talk about this in my last video. So, reluctantly, I talked about it a little bit. A half hour after my video's downloaded, I came back to look at it, and there's only 5 views, man. I gotta stay with my gut feeling. My gut feeling was that you guys, and I explained it all in the video. It's not all about the impeachment. It's about Trump 2.0 in 2024 and a few other things. But I always got to go with my gut feeling. Let me talk about something else. When you guys, I read your comments, but I pick very specific times to read you guys' comments because I get caught up. I get very personal with you guys that are writing to me. I'll make it through 1 or 2 of your comments and I'll get stuck, like just after reading 1 or 2, and it'll stick in my head. This happened, and let me talk about it, all right? This was from the March 4th video, the video about March 4th, about how the anonymous letter of the alphabet, that's the hand sign for it, and the sovereign citizens kind of joined their theories together for this Trump coming back on March 4th, but it's not really about that. I assume this commenter was a sovereign citizen, and he said something that stuck in my head. He started talking about, I guess he was trying to make his point about sovereign citizens and whatnot. And he mentioned, he had a couple lines about how we're carrying supercomputers in our pockets. We're all carrying supercomputers in our pockets. And they're connected to these elites. I hate that word, elites. So, I'm surprised I didn't just put an end to that comment right there, but I kept reading and I started thinking about it, how Elon Musk is worth $185 billion, how much that is. And, how much all the rest, Jeff Bezos, Amazon, and how these supercomputers were connected to these elites and these people that have money that we can't even comprehend. And how we get so much information and we put so much information into it and we're tied. And this isn't my forte. This isn't my cup of tea, but it got me thinking. I have to admit, that angle got me thinking. Because I was trying to think of a way to refute it. We're all moving into the future. And I started to look at ways to argue with this guy, not to argue, but to debate him. And my first line of thinking was, look, I understand, it's frightening moving into this future, right? Hey, I'm 55 and this, I used to answer a phone on the wall. There was no computers or anything back when I was 10 years old. I remember getting a calculator for Christmas when I was 10 or 11, and it was the biggest deal in the world. It was like getting a supercomputer, a regular calculator. Anyway, so I was trying to find ways to debate with this guy, and I started to think about what he said. And I couldn't really find a whole lot of ways to argue, because this is the fact. There's one thing I do agree with. It is the divide in income. How some of us, the majority of people across the world, get in debt with credit cards. Yes, we live a pretty good life, but we are continually in debt. We continually have to go to work every single day. We are wage slaves. We live good, but we basically serve the elites. If we don't go to work, if we get sick, just take for instance, if we don't have insurance and we get sick, that's it. We are on the breadline. We are in poverty. That's all it takes for an average American making $80,000 to $100,000 a year. If the wife and husband, if there even is a wife and husband, there's only one wage earner here. If that person gets sick or it isn't covered, bam, you are in poverty. Your credit goes out the window. Once your credit goes, and believe me, I'm trying to get my credit back together. It does not take much for you to have nothing in this world. We're always on that edge of having nothing. Even if you have a boat and 2 new cars in the driveway and a 3-bedroom house in the suburbs, you are still always on the edge of having nothing. Wouldn't take much for disaster to strike. Now look at people like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. $185 billion. You can't even wrap your mind around that. You know why I started thinking about this? We had a lottery here in Connecticut, Mega Millions. I'm not even sure. You know what? I bought one ticket one week. I didn't win. I gave up on it. I'm going to make my own money, man. But anyway, it got up to over $900,000 million. And it makes you start thinking, that's not even $1 billion. So I typed in, what does $1 billion buy in Google? You could spend $100,000 every single day for the next 25 years before you ran out of money. And that's only $1 billion. Elon Musk has 185 times that much. You could literally buy, I think you could pretty much buy a country or islands or huge pieces of the earth with that much money. It's ungodly. It really is. You can't spend that much money in a lifetime. And the way the system is set up is this wealth that he has grows exponentially every second of every hour. You know, the more he has, the more it grows exponentially. And it's almost the reverse for us. You know, the poorer you get, the more charges and interest you have to pay. If your credit isn't that good, you pay more interest. They charge you for being poor. The poorer you are, the poorer you get. The richer you are, the richer you get. And I started thinking about this whole system. And, you know, how much a person could actually control a huge bunch of people, of the country, of reality, with that much resources, with that much. It's not even the money, it's the resource that people like him have. Now, I'm trying to weigh out this whole argument here. I'm not even sure which side I'm on. But like I said, the thing that bothers me, the root of the problem, I see a problem here, like I said, is the rich get richer exponentially. You know, people, banks and everybody are falling over themselves to give him more money. And conversely, the rest of us are over here paying and paying just to survive, just to literally, just to put food on the table, just to have a roof over our head so we don't get wet and cold and snow and die in the street. Let me just say this one last thing. You know, and I'm just going to leave it there for you guys to think about. But one thing that made me feel very strongly was a trip to New York City when I was in 4th grade. We live not far. I'm only about an hour away from Manhattan. We went to the United Nations when I was in 4th grade. And this is something that affected me right now for the rest. It affected me for my entire life. I remember walking down, maybe it was 5th Avenue, 7th Avenue, 8th Avenue. I'm not even really sure. It was near Central Park. But I remember it was raining and cold. It was a November day. And there was a man sleeping on the sidewalk underneath a piece of plastic. And it was around 9 a.m., 10 a.m. And people were walking back and forth. And people were just walking, stepping right over this person. This homeless man sleeping underneath a piece of plastic. And at 10, 11 years old, this blew my mind, man. It scared the hell out of me because that just said to me, one day, this is America. This is the world, the country I live in. That one day, not only could I be that person on the sidewalk, but nobody will even care. Nobody will even see me. And that terrified me. That terrified me about reality. And maybe that's what made me more liberal. I don't even know. And you hear one more last thing, a quote, and I'm not sure if I'm saying it right or where I heard it, but they say that in the future, history judges past empires, past civilizations by how well they treated the weakest, how well they took care of the weakest of their group, their civilization. They will be judged by that. And we won't be judged too highly. Just some thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know. This is why I don't read comments. All right, or at specific times. I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a good Wednesday.